I'm so glad you're here with me. If you're excited for the next big story, don't forget to subscribe now so you won't miss a thing. Now let's dive deep into what happened during a recent interview that took everyone by surprise, where Wang's unexpected confession caused Shen Yu to break down in tears. From the moment the lights went on, there was a tension in the air, a kind of gravity that felt new, unspoken, heavy. The interviewer greeted Shen Yu and Wang, and both sat down with poised smiles, measured breathing, but behind those smiles was something else: anticipation, perhaps unease, the sense that this wasn't going to be a routine Q&A. Dylan shifted in his seat, his eyes flickering momentarily with a glance at Shen Yu, and I swear you could see something in Shen's expression too, her cheerful veneer, the composed professional, cracked just a little. The dialogue began lightly. How have you been holding up since your last project? What was your biggest challenge this season? Shen responded with customary politeness. Dylan nodded. They shared a laugh about a behind-the-scenes anecdote. But then the pace changed. The interviewer asked a question about personal feelings, about motivations, about emotions beyond the camera. And Dylan's face changed. He leaned forward. That tone shifted. He looked at Shen Yu directly, something that seemed intentional, vulnerable. And he said, "There's something I've been meaning to tell you, and now I feel I should." The room grew quieter. Shen's smile faltered. She swallowed. I could almost see her heart beat in her throat. He wasn't talking about the next project. He wasn't talking about filming or performance. He was talking about something personal. Dylan went on, "When we were filming, when we shared these scenes, I realized something about myself, about how I feel toward you." His voice softened. He took a breath. "I never expected it, because this wasn't the plan, but the truth is, I've grown to care for you more deeply than I ever thought possible." He paused. Shen Yu's eyes widened. Her breath caught. Some of the audience shifted. The camera zoomed slightly, the ring light glowed. In that instant, every flashing light and soft murmur outside faded. Tears formed in Shen's eyes. They brimmed, shaking her composure. Dylan continued, "I know this may come as a shock. I know it changes things. But I wanted to be honest. I wanted to tell you, I love you." And just like that, the intensity of the moment exploded. Everything else became background noise. Shen's face went pale, a trembling lip, a quick intake of breath. Tears rolled down her cheek. Shen couldn't speak at first. The confession echoed in the room like a drumbeat. The interviewer gently waited. Dylan sat back, brow furrowed with concern, vulnerable in his confession. And Shen opened her mouth and closed it, trying to find words. She looked at Dylan, then away, then back. Tears welled. Her voice cracked. "Dylan, I didn't expect this. I wasn't prepared for this. This means so much, and yet I need a moment." She placed a hand to her chest, feeling something there, then ache, an awakening. Her tears fell openly. The confession had breached something inside her. Because while on screen they had shared moments of closeness, camaraderie, laughter, behind the scenes something else had taken root, something that maybe she hadn't allowed herself to fully recognize until now. And that rawness came flooding. Dylan watched, his hope mingled with fear. The silence stretched. Shen wiped a tear away, her voice gentle yet firm. "You are a wonderful person, Dylan. A gifted actor, a kind colleague, someone I respect deeply. And yes, this moment is important. But I need to be truthful too." She paused, the tears still falling. "Because I realized that what I feel for you is not the same kind of feeling. And I would be unfair to you, and to myself, if I pretended otherwise." Another breath. "I'm sorry." Dylan closed his eyes briefly. He nodded. The acceptance was there. The pain. The respect. The finality of honesty. He said, "Thank you for telling me. Thank you for being honest. I value you." Then he sat still as Shen tried to steady her composure. Even in her professional life, Shen Yu rarely shows this level of vulnerability in public. But this moment stripped away the glitz, the cameras, the script, and placed two human beings facing something bigger than fame, bigger than ambition. The tears traced down Shen's cheeks not because she rejected Dylan's love lightly, they traced because she confronted her own heart. Meanwhile, Dylan had laid himself bare. He had stepped into a territory of risk, not only in confession, but in facing the possibility of rejection. It takes courage to say, "I love you," when you don't know the answer. And in that vulnerability, the moment became real. It wasn't a publicity stunt. It felt true. But what makes the moment even more striking is what Shen realized then, that her heart had been leaning somewhere else for some time. While Dylan's words forced her into this clarity, they also freed her from uncertainty. She glimpsed the truth she had been avoiding, that her emotional center wasn't with Dylan. Because as much as she admired him, respected him, enjoyed their friendship and working relationship, the deeper loyalty in her heart belonged to someone else. Her steady anchor. Someone who had always been there quietly, away from the spotlight, away from the public speculation. And the confession made her face that. Her tears weren't just about the moment, they were about recognition, revelation, release. She realized she'd let others define the narrative of her life, her relationships. The camera, the fans, the industry. Now the truth of her heart made itself known. She loved someone else, someone whose presence felt unwavering and unshakable. In the days that followed, the interview clip spread across social media. Headlines speculated, Dylan Wang confesses love to Shen Yu, Shen Yu tear response to unexpected moment, love triangle drama imagine. But the reality behind the clickbait was far more intimate. Shen Yu retreated into her thoughts. She let the moment settle. She reached out to the person she'd been leaning on. She whispered, "Thank you." And in that whisper was everything: gratitude, apology, hope. Dylan, for his part, was seen in a different light. Not as just the heartthrob actor, but as a person who dared to speak his truth. Some fans praised him, others pitied him, others criticized the moment as a PR move, but those who believed in authenticity felt something shift. The vulnerability changed the narrative of his image. He wasn't invincible, he was feeling. Shen Yu's tears became emblematic, not of defeat, but of awakening.